in this phrase, why don't you do it? There are actually quite a few different ways we say it. The first reduction we might do is to say, why don't you do it? Why don't you do it? So what's different between those two phrases? When I say, why don't you do it? I lose this T sound. Why don't you do it? So then often when we have an NT, think about words like internet, how in native speech, Americans will say internet, or they'll say international rather than international. So this NT starts to function like a NT in the middle of words, and we lose the T. Why don't you? Why don't you do it? And then U often gets reduced to more of a ya. So that's where we get, why don't you do it? As we say, do it, in order to be fluent there and sound natural, we don't want to stop and start, not do it with a hard start. And so I'm moving from the rounded oo into the unrounded it, and we end up with a little w sound in between. Why don't you do it? Do it. So you don't have to really work to insert an extra w there. It just should happen naturally as you move from this vowel to this vowel. Do it. Why don't you do it? Why don't you do it? The next way that we say this is, why don't you? Why don't you do it? Don't you? Don't you happens when we take this t and y sound. So those sounds are t and y in the IPA. Because that's very similar to ch, the ch sound, we morph from tia, why don't ya, to don't cha. We just assimilate those two sounds and it becomes more of a cha. So that's where you get, why don't you? Why don't you do it? 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 So I would say these two happen naturally in professional speech. You can use them all the time. These two are going to be more relaxed and more casual. So you're going to hear native speakers use them, maybe even in professional contexts, but they're a little bit maybe less proper. So this one, why don't you do it? Why don't you do it? Is we basically lose the do part of don't, and we just move right from the why to the cha, whycha, whycha. So we get the n still in there, so you end up with whycha. Why don't you do it? Why don't you do it? So that's natural. We might say that, why don't you do it? Why don't you do it? That's another way. And then lastly, another option, if we're not going with the ch sound, is more like, why didn't you do it? Why didn't you do it? This one sounds a little bit the same as what we would say for why didn't you do it? Why don't you do it? Why don't you do it? Why don't you do it? So that's basically just taking the donya, and becoming more like dunya, losing that o. Why didn't you do it? So the reason this one is a little less clear and you might want to avoid it is it sounds a little bit, like I said, like why didn't you? So a way we reduce didn't would be didn't. Why didn't you? Why don't you? I would stick with these two. Why don't you? Why don't you? Or why don't you do it? You don't have to use these. You can say this fluently without too much choppiness between words. But it's helpful, I think, to recognize and listen to, hear the different versions, because when we see these written, they really just look wrong. If I showed this to a native speaker, they might say, no, I don't say that. But in fluent speech, they will actually use these pronunciations. They just don't realize how the linking and connecting works there. So I hope it helps you to see these visually. If you find this visual breakdown helpful, then I highly recommend our Real Talk playlist and our Real Talk online course that breaks down common phrases, shows you the most common reductions and linking that we do. And of course, we cover that here on Saturdays in our live class. I also want to mention that practice is incorporated into our new app. So if you haven't yet checked out the app, go to the link in the chat here or in the description for the video. The app will take and listen to your speech, tell you what you're doing, and help you get this more advanced fluent sounding speech, as well as looking at accent error patterns you may have, helping you increase your fluent speaking, your correct pronunciation, your American accent. It's very customized to your specific goals, and the nice thing is that it's able to give you feedback. So you're not just practicing and working on your own. When you're speaking to the app, it's going to tell you what you need to change and give you help in doing that. So check that out. It's on studio.com, the speech modification app.